Hi everybody, this is Lynn from Creative Concept Crafts with this week's release, and it's the cute Christmas monogram collection. There's every letter that spells out the word Christmas, and they can be made into either shaker cards or just on the monograms alone. So there's quite a number, and I hope you're going to enjoy them. I thought they were rather novel, but I've really enjoyed creating them. So we'll just go through them for you. C is for Christmas. Each one has its own box or envelope box. I have to confess I haven't made every one of these up because trying to store 27 items, I'm running out of space at the house, guys, so please forgive me. I've done a couple of boxes, the rest are envelope boxes. H is for holly. R is for reindeer. So cute. I am going to be doing on the video in a minute. S is for snowflake. I'm going to find the envelope hidden underneath. There we go. The next one, T is for tree, and this one will be another one in a box. There we go. And the last three, M is for mistletoe. A is for angels. And S is for Santa. Some of the bits that have been punched out of the envelope boxes have actually used as decor on some of the cards. So you're going to have to forgive me today. I'm starting with, I've just bought a new phone, so I'm going to try some close-up video work. If it's not perfect, please forgive me. It's very much a learning curve. So these are the component parts for all of the cards. They're all made up the same way. We have your card base, which I've gone round the edges on the scoreboard. I think you can just about make it out, and the same on the mat. I think you can make that beveled edge out just about. Okay, then we have our letters. Now, if you're wanting to make it up as a non-shaker card, then you're just going to glue the decorative mat onto the back of the filled letter. Okay, or you can add dimensional foam in between, or you can add dimensional foam underneath as you're adding it to the card, or indeed you can just glue it straight on. So there's several options for you there. Today I'm actually going to show you how to create the shaker card, and for that we just need an extra letter which has been cut in acetate. Okay, so I've already put dimensional foam tape on most of the letter, and I'm just going to complete it. But before I do, I'm just going to show you, I've shared this tip with you before, but if you didn't see it, I put all my foam tape onto, whether it's baking paper, parchment paper, greaseproof paper. So I just run it, just stick it onto the paper, and then you can cut so easily into very fine strips. The strips I'm cutting to complete this shaker card are no more than a couple of mil wide. So out of that piece, I think I got about 7 or 8 strips. So I've just cut quite a number of strips, which then allows us to keep it nice and fine, and you can bend it round corners as well. So I'm just going to finish off the last little bit of foam, to add in foam tape to the last piece. I add it to the solid letter rather than trying to add it to the acetate. I find it easier. So when you're adding it, flip it over and cut from the wrong side so that you get left, it goes right to the edge, whereas if you do it the other way up, it tends to cut it just a fraction short. So I've just couple of little bits to put in on the ends there now. And I tend to use the bits up when you've used a long length and there's little bits left. I tend to use those bits on the ends. So I'll just pop them all into position. You just got to close the holes up so that your shaker bits aren't going to fall out. And then make sure once you've done that, that all the foam tapes all push down well. From here, we can add, oh, I forgot to add, when you're using the foam tape, once you've cut it, just run down with an anti-static bag so that the edges are not still sticky, because if they are, then your shaker bits are going to stick to it once you add them. So I've just gone down. If you don't have an anti-static bag, just a paintbrush with some talc, just run it down, and it just stops the shaker bits from sticking. I need to just run this across with the anti-static bag. That's one I've made myself, by the way, with talc and, you know, the old sort of foot type of things. It works, and it cost me next to nothing to do it. So these are like little icicle bits, and you'll have to excuse the bits that are going everywhere. I've got a fan going. We're suffering excessive heat here in Spain at the minute, so it's blowing them about a little bit, but I'm sure, yeah, I usually end up with glitter and bits all over me anyway when I've been crafting, so I'm known as the glitter fairy in the house. So now we can remove all the pieces of tape. So just speed it up for the camera. You have to just take your time with this, because otherwise you'll end up flicking your bits everywhere, and then you get your pokey tool stuck on it, and then it flips, and then there's bits go everywhere again. But hey ho, part of crafting. Okay, so now we're adding the acetate to the base. Just nice and carefully, just hover over until you get it into position, and then make sure that it's all well pressed down. Like I said, you don't have to do a shaker, but I thought it was kind of neat. You can add all sorts of bits. I think I've used sequins in one, I've used glitter in another, I've got these in this one. So whatever you've got in your stash. Now we just need to glue this into position on top of the acetate. I actually found that my PVA glue is actually sticking on the acetate. If it doesn't work for you, if your PVA doesn't work, then try one of the silicone glues. I don't know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it's to do with the weather or whatever, but just make sure that's all housed down, and then I'm just going to pop that. It doesn't quite hide the foam tape, but it's not far off. I think on one side it's hidden. It might just be a millimetre wider on one side than the other with cutting it by hand, but I'm sure people are not going to sit and poke and say, oh, look at that. We strive for perfection, but it never happens. Okay, so I'm just now matting up while the glue's drying on the top of the acetate there. And this is a 6x6 card, or as near 6x6 as we can get. Of course, the Scan and Cut doesn't cut to a full 12 inches, so I think I've done it about 11.5 by 6. So we now need to add the text letters. The I is for icicle, or should I say just is for icicle. So I'm just going to speed this up, just gluing the text onto the backer. And then I'm going to add again dimensional tape. You don't have to do it, you can glue it directly onto your card, but I just like the dimension on a card. Now you could add an emboss backer here, that plain mat you could run through an embossing machine. Maybe if you've got something with Christmas words on, maybe, or even icicles or snowflakes or something, Christmas trees even, just to add a different dimension. So now I'm gluing that into position. Or maybe you could use a Christmas decorative cardstock. So many options. I like to keep them slightly plainer and allow the design to do the talking, but everybody has their own versions. Now this can go anywhere on the card. It can go at the top, in the middle, at the bottom, over the centre. You don't have to put the eye off to one side, you can put it in the middle. decisions, it's all entirely for you. And I'm going to finish off now. We're just adding a little bit of glue onto one side, just as if there's been snow gathering on one side. And I'm doing the same on the lettering. You know me and my bling by now. And there we have our card. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next time, bye for now.